Hello, and welcome to the Kathleen Spracklin podcast. I am a woman on a mission to gather a cadre of writers, thinkers, and teachers who are transforming the world, one character at a time. And it all starts with one thing, a deep understanding of human motivation, why people do what they do, and the forces that drive them. To gain that understanding, I am mining the intersection of psychology, theology, and philosophy to make you a better writer. This is episode 101, Zettelkasten, Avoiding Needless Complexity. Why, we've been on a wonderful roll going through how Zettelkasten works, from a bib card to how you read a book to how cards are numbered. And with tonight's episode, I want to wind up the discussion of how cards are numbered with a few philosophical caveats. To set us up, I'm going to take a look at the set of cards that we've been playing with all along, and I'm going to assume that we've settled in on a numbering plan. As we said yesterday, if you use a system that has the 4 numbers, you can use those numbers to generally place cards in your system. We'll talk about where that breaks down a little bit as one of the topics tonight. But I want to first focus on placing a new card in the system. So I'm going to assume that we've settled on a slightly simpler version of Scott's suggestion of using Wikipedia to get you started on your numbers. These are a little bit more, to me, they felt more common. But in particular, I'm going to be expanding out this section on jellyfish, because that is the part that we've been playing with. So I'm going to assume that we've decided that 3151 is a great place to start our jellyfish. So let's take a quick review of the cards that we have so far, using that as our starting point, and then using the effortless numbering after that. So our first card, the effortless numbering would be 1, and so we have our 3151.1. We've just decided that we want the extra advantage of being able to control the placement in our Zettelkasten as a whole. Likewise, if we then had one of our directory cards, which is also known as a branch collective, then very little has to change here. The number on our branch collective is the same as the number on the card that it expands. It's a colored card, which tells us it's not really a part of our Zettelkasten. That's how it gets away with having the same number, and it gets filed right next to the card with the same number. I put it right after. And then the 1A and 1B are basically telling you where we're going with it. You could say A and B because the cards are going to be numbered point 1A, point 1B. But however you choose, you're just using this as a designation to let you know that you have 2 different branches coming out from jellyfish. I won't spend a lot of time on these because we're quite familiar with these cards right now. The 1A was where we said they don't have brains, hearts, or lungs. They have 3 layers. And that we broke down into what the 3 layers were. And then we had the cards that gave us the outer layer, the epidermis. The card that gave us the middle layer that was jelly-like. And the card that gave us the inner layer where they digest their food. We added one more card to extend out that inner layer because we said sometimes they eat other small fish. But you can see now how this is really basically just our effortless numbering with a preamble telling us whereabouts in our Zettelkasten we want to place these cards. Now, suppose we have one more card now that we want to add to our system. Oh wait, let me do the 1B card first. The jellyfish have been around 500 million years, longer than dinosaurs. Okay, now we have a new card and it doesn't have a number yet. Jellyfish have a body plan characterized by radial symmetry. They look all the same in all directions from the center out. That's my note. I'm assuming that this is a child's Zettelkasten, and they might have had to look up or ask Mom what radial symmetry meant. Okay, so now where are we going to want to place this card? We might be tempted to say, let's place it up near the 3 layers thing because it's talking about the body plan. So let's take a look at our directory card and see, perhaps in an ideal world, where we might like to place this. Okay, here we are back at our directory card, and we can see that if we create this new card as 1C, which is what it really belongs as, then it's going to come down here underneath the jellyfish have been around for 500,000 years. So sometimes people have a temptation, a feeling that this card really belongs up here with jellyfish have 3 layers because radial symmetry is closer to the 3 layers. If we try to do that, however, how are we going to number it? We're going to have to try to squeeze something between 1A and 1B. My feeling about the subject is that this is another advantage of having the directory card. Because if you go ahead and name it 1C, which is effortless, you don't have to think a thing about the numbering system, and you have this directory card, you've got all the information that you need adjacent to one another. And if you want to compare these cards, you know right where to look for them in your Zettelkasten. So my recommendation is that you number this card 3151.1C and put it behind 1B. I'm going to give you a little story as to why I think that 1C is the proper number for that card. I believe in the effortless numbering system, and I'll give you another example. Suppose you have a mathematician, and he teaches mathematics at the university, so sometimes he presents mathematical papers at symposiums, and he's writing a book on the history of mathematics. He's got his cards in his Zettelkasten, and the question comes up, what order do his topics belong in? Well, the answer might be, well, that depends. If he's teaching the subject, he wants them ordered by the simpler concept, followed by the more complex concepts, in the order in which you would teach them. If he's presenting a paper at a symposium, he wants them in the order of the most novel and the most groundbreaking first, and then the history behind it to support it. If he's writing a paper on the history of mathematics, then he simply wants them in chronological order. So what's the right order? Obviously, it depends on the context. And in this case, this particular professor might need 3 different ordering plans. And so for that reason, if you have your directory right there, you can make some notes in it and make notes of the order, and even make a note of what you might want the order for different uses. And I submit that if you stick with the simplified numbering system, the effortless numbering system, and you keep your directory cards, you will get all of the value of adjacency of a Zettelkasten. And after all of this stuff talking about numbering, I want to get back to the concept of Zettelkasting a book, and especially the concept of how you interweave different books that you read on the same subject, which in Mortimer Adler's book is what he calls syntopical reading. And a Zettelkasten is marvelously positioned for that. And that is a very exciting unit that we will begin tomorrow. Talk to you then.